Kathy, and I want to show you today how I do a 50% water change on my Malawi tank. I do this once a fortnight on a Wednesday religiously. I've got, I don't know, probably 20 Malawi in there, and 2 bristlenose plex, which to be fair do a really good job cleaning the glass. I haven't cleaned the glass since I've had them, so that's really good. They're really good at that, which is what they're there for. And 3 cynodontists, and they've been stable for I don't know, a couple of years now. I have lost one. I've noticed one of my big yellow labs has gone, but obviously she's been lunch, so I've not noticed it. I've not noticed a smell when I open to feed them or anything, so it's the filter's locked it in and eating it up, and it's safe. Talking of safe, I don't use water conditioner, so you'll notice that I don't put it in. But if I did, I'd just put it in when the hose pipe is running through and put it in the flow of the hose pipe. But this is the stuff that you need. It's safe. It's actually for ponds, so you need an absolutely tiny amount, like a pinch, and that's plenty. It does the same job, removes chlorine, chloramine, ammonia. So the only time I've used this recently is when we had to move the fish tank for it to be decorated in here. We had a new floor, so we had to move the tank, and we put the tank out in the kitchen, and the fish were in a water butt in the kitchen with all the filters running through. It was a right palaver. So yeah, that was the last time I used that, was when I introduced them back in, and I lost about 5 fish. So while we're talking about that, talking about tests, it's the same with the tests. I only test if there's a problem. There's no point in testing all the time once you're set up and stable, because that's just a waste of tests. It's ridiculous. So this is the one I would use if I do test. And that, as I say, that was the last time I needed to test. It's API, freshwater test kit. And one thing I'd say to you to do is to laminate the cards. Anything with regard to fish keeping is going to get wet, so you need to prevent it getting wet so that you're going to ruin it. So yeah, laminate your cards so that when you're testing with your whatchamacallit, your test tube, you're comparing it against that. The glass is going to be wet, so you'll need to protect the cards. And that's how I do that. Food wise, I spend when you don't need to. eBay, just get the cheapest ones. They don't care, you know what they're like Labradors. They'll eat anything. This is a 4-foot tank. I've kept Malawi for about 15 years, I think. Started with a 3-foot, and of course you always should go a bit bigger than what you think you need. So always go as big as you can afford and what space you've got. So I started with 3-foot, then I went to 4, no, then I went to a trigon, one that fits in the corner. Then I went to a 5-foot, which was too big. So then I went to a 4-foot, and I'm staying at 4-foot. That's ample for what fish I've got. Kept them a long time, so I've perfected the way that I do a water change. I do it the same way every time. I'm going to talk you through it and what I use, the equipment that I use, where I got it from, the order which I do it, why I do it that way, and you'll see how simple it is. It's just Malawi are as hard as hell, and they can cope with it. Item number 1, a hose pipe. Keep your nozzle that you're going to put on the end of your hose pipe that goes into your fish tank separate from any other equipment. Like if you're going to wash the car with your hose pipe, you don't want to get shampoo contaminating it into your tank. You want to keep everything fishy separate. Number 2, somewhere to keep your fish stuff. That's it, just a box outside. In the box, just fish stuff. And that's it, nothing else, don't contaminate things, just leave it like that. Okay, black buckets just for your fish. and a long hose. I can't remember the length of this, but you'll need to measure it according to your tank and where your nearest window is, or your door, or a water butt, wherever you're going to siphon it into. Just measure it first. I won't be responsible for you clocking up your measurements and not having enough hose. So yeah, black buckets, I always use 3, and I keep those 3 separate at all times. Have as many of them as you want. Right, this is our conservatory. Okay, can you see where the window is? My daughter's just come in there. Ah, she's gone now. That's the back door. That's the window. And the tap, the outside tap, is just by the back door. So this is what I do with my hose pipe. I'm just going to have to close the door because the dog's coming. This is the other side of the window. I'm going to turn that tap on hot in a minute and leave that going. Now that is where my tank is. I'm just going to walk you through. This is, excuse any mess, but people live here. That's the front door. Now my hose runs through the front door. However, before it used to, when my tank was in a different position in the front room, I used to be able to put it out the window into a water butt, which was ideal. But needs must, and this is easier because I've done the front garden and it's not possible to do that, and I've moved the tank and gravity's a problem. You'll see. Back to the tank, switch off all the power, heater, filter, switch it all off now. As I've been talking to you there, this is filled up, so I'm just going to see to this. I'll start to fill the next one. Now, because I'm holding this, this is slowing me down. Normally, I would have the hose pipe set up and pull through the window, which I'm going to do now. Get that all ready. I'm on to bucket number 3. I've just been outside and put the hose pipe onto the outside tap. So normally I'd be back and 2, back and 2, back and 2, but because I'm recording this, it's obviously taking me time. So we'll take off 5 minutes at the end. Make sure you run your outside tap for a minute or 2. Can you see all that scum on the top of there? It's like a foamy white. It's evening itself out a bit now, but it's like sediment that's collected in your pipe while it's been sitting waiting for the next use. Sorry guys, it's just started raining. So when I'm running off that water, I run it into that barrel. It's got plants in it. See how I've unravelled the hose like this? See, I'm lucky I've got a bit of a back garden and a bit of a front as well, but I always make sure that I run some of the hose off, only enough of what you need. Don't go unravelling the whole hose pipe, you don't need to. Just what you need. Just like take a bit out and do what I've done, walk it on the lawn, just so it's long enough for where you need to put it into. Now folks, this is a bit difficult for me to do, so I'm just going to have to do my best. So I open the top. Let me show you the inside. I need to get a new top for this actually. Right. So there's glass sliders in there. I hope you can see that. So there's glass. Right guys, I showed you this bag earlier. This is where I keep my hose. This is where it gets a bit messy, so bear with me. Right, fellas. This is one end of my hose. You can see the thickness. I can get my thumb and finger around it. one rule of measurement is make sure it fits in your mouth. You'll see why later. I've covered that with the net so no fish gets stuck up it. It goes in. So we want 50%, so that's about right. Hose secure in there with the lid because it's heavy. It goes right the way round out of my front door. Right, here's the pipe. See how fast that's flowing out? Now, can you see that level? How that water level has dropped. And how fast. That is real time. That isn't edited. That is real time. How fast that's dropped. So it's just a shame that light's like that. But you can see it there. This is real time. I'm just going to keep saying that just so you can see how fast, how much time it actually saves doing this. You have to be careful that you don't let it go too low. That's why I've only put it that, you know, sort of halfway, just below half, because I'll have to be here to get it out. So that's 1 minute. That's taken. I will speed it up, don't worry. But yeah, that's 1 minute 13, 14. See the level? Oops. Just keep going. That's 3 gone in, and do another 3. Usually I think it's about 400 litres. Half of it is 200. So I do Pippa. Thank you. Oh, Pippa, she hates it. Come here. This is Pippa. She hates the hose. Yeah, where was I? So, 400 litres. A bucket holds about 10. Half of 400, 200. I usually do 6 buckets, that's 60 litres. So I think for hot water, hot water, that's plenty. So I don't fart around with temperature. Why? If anybody's ever stood in a lake, they would know how bloody cold it is. And I mean really cold. In Malawi it probably would be a bit warmer, but I doubt it would be much different. So I've got the mix in there, so it would be just like a natural lake. So just got to wait now, wait for it to fill up. turn the filters back on, make sure they're working properly. I run 2 filters on this, one either side. Don't know if you can hear me, it's quite loud. So I usually sit here and wait until I can't see the level anymore. If it's too high, you can see the glass slider. So you have to take a bit out then, or they've got no surface agitation and they won't have enough air. The heater's back on now, both filters are back on, they're both running alright, so just need to wait. So in the meantime, while this is all happening, I'll be going outside and putting my buckets away and my hose in my little box. I can just see a little bit still there, so I'm just going to wait, because it's also noisy if you've not got enough water in there. It's noisier than you think. This is not very good light. Not long enough. But it's alright. So that is probably plenty now. Yeah, I would say so. And we close it now. Oy. And that is how you do a fast water change on a Malawi tank. Thank you. Quick one. When you put your hose pipe away, make sure you turn the tap off, the outside tap off, and drain what's left in your hose. So just keep the gun on and drain it, because otherwise when you unplug the hose pipe you'll get water sprayed all over you. Believe me, I've made all these mistakes. All the mistakes you can imagine. I've left the tank hose pipe running and flooded out the front room thinking I was being clever, but now I know how long things take, and I've got like a little clock in my head like a chef has when they're baking. They know how long things take, they don't need a timer. So yeah, it is experience, but this is the easiest way.